saying, like, but it's not like I pulled him out of the school because I don't like the school.
Right. You saw the big picture.
Yeah, and I got reinforcement, like, the principal was great, handled things great and all of that last year, but, you know, this year we're having a better experience.
Well, and I think what you said is right, like, he's not gonna like every boss he has, or every professor, or every person he has to roommate with, or
exactly.
anything like that. And so it really, even though it was a sucky experience, he probably learned a lot.
Yeah.
And saw you deal with it, and like, okay, well, we're just gonna power through, and, you know, rather than pulling him out.
Right.
Oh, she's mean, let's, you know.
Well,
if I had the experience again, I would have thought differently. But
yeah.
I was gonna say, and then that's a choice you have to make too, whether you want to make your child power through this, or is this the time to opt out and make another choice?
Yeah.
You know, is this not the right time to teach this lesson? You know.
That's a good
Yeah,
point.
yeah, it's true. It is true. So we have like 15 more minutes. I want to make sure that what you came here gets answered. Or am I opening a can of worms and now you have all these new questions? But I want to make sure that I address those. I have so many more things I can talk about, but I want to make sure, is there anything in particular that you were hoping to get from tonight? Or did something come up that you never thought of and you're like, wait, I need to know more about this? Or, and even if you don't think of it now, all of us teachers are available anytime. We really want you to know that. Maybe not so much during class, but before class, after class, nights, weekends, you can email us, you can call us. You all have our phone numbers and our email addresses. So I just want you to know. All hours of the evening.
I'm gonna throw myself out the window. She's writing.
Breathe.
Yeah. No, what is she doing? I'm telling her what she's doing. Say this. So I'm literally ignorant. And I'm reading whatever it was Sandy said to say. And she's like, what are you reading? Nothing. Do you want to tell me I came up with this?
It's coming up.
But it's true. I have a question.
Yeah.
You talked about, like, you know, like what you want for the school, you know, if it's good in arts and good in sports, or it has strong academic scores or whatever. How do you? I mean, I want all of this stuff for my kids.
Sure.
I want them to be able to. I don't want to force them into a particular thing just because I like it if they don't like it. So they have to try things. So, like, I mean, I don't know how do you know when?
And a school is not going to meet all your needs.
Right.
It's just not. So if you choose to go to a more academic school, just make sure you're balancing it with something outside of school that, you know, with the arts and the creativity and the play and the gross motor skill, you know, whatever. Or vice versa, if you're going to a real artsy school and you feel like you love that, but you want a little more academic, then you know what I'm saying? So just educating yourself, and please know that, I mean, as good of schools as there are out there, there's bad schools, there's bad teachers, but they can only do so much. I mean, sometimes parents come in expecting teachers to, like, do everything, and why didn't you teach my child to read, or class management or whatever. Like, you have no idea what it would be like to have 20, which is small, or 30 kids, all at different levels, with different needs, coming from different homes that maybe didn't get sleep last night, didn't have breakfast, don't know where they're sleeping. Who knows? Like, there's so many different issues that a teacher is dealing with. And so they're just trying to get through the day, so they might use a lot of different classroom management that may or may not agree with you. But getting back to your question, I totally went off on a tangent.
That's okay.
Where was it going?
Just about
so just trying to find that balance for, you know, and so just trying to open your awareness of, you know, why you might have chosen school and what it might be lacking and how you can.
I feel like that's where you have to go to them too. Because
Yeah.
like you walk into it and you're just like, nope, or this feels like home. I mean, I feel like it's just a feeling.
And there's different personalities. I mean, I get the feeling that you guys are not the kind that are just going to roll up, drop the kid off, and roll away. I mean, you all are going to be involved in the school in some way, shape, or form. So you want to know, is this a good fit for me? Am I going to feel comfortable on this campus? When you walk through the office, are you like,
Am I even going to be welcome on this campus?
right? And how are the other parents, you know?
That's a challenge, because coming from here, obviously, it's such a fit at Bridges with, it's the same philosophy, and most of my friends' kids were there. So for me personally, I looked at it like, I want to be at Bridges. But but it's working out really well for her. I mean, I'm making some friends. It's just not the same. It's not, but it's not my school. It's her school, you know?
Yeah.
So I can't be super selfish about it.
But you're getting involved, I mean, you're.
I am on the PTA, yeah.
I mean, you're
I'm on the
doing
board,
it,
yeah.
so,
Yeah.
you know, you gotta find your
Yeah.
niche, you know? My biggest, recommendation for you, wherever you go, is have a relationship with that teacher, good, bad, or ugly.
Mhm.
Let them know what you stand for, what's important to you, and let them know about your child so that you guys can jive. Because if every week they're giving you a packet this big of homework and your child is laying on the floor crying and screaming because they can't do homework, you need to have some kind of a relationship with that teacher to go, look, this is not worth a battle every single night. How important is this? Is there 2 pages out of this that you really want them to do? Or, you know, some teachers just give homework because that's what the district requires. Doesn't mean your child needs to do that. Or, you know, or maybe your child's just not getting anything done in class, and so yeah, they have a lot of homework because they're goofing around in class. So you have to, you know, find out what is going on, you know, so be involved. I can't imagine you guys not being involved. I mean, we're training you here 3 hours every week. Come forth and get 3 hours every week.
You know, I found that it was just going with what I thought was interesting or what I thought my child might be interested in, and just trying it out, you know? And there's a educational philosophy called Thomas Jefferson, and they break it up into age groups, you know, and I don't even know what the age groups are, I haven't really read the book, but it's, you know, the early ages up to like age 10 or 11 or something, is all about trying things. They might like soccer, but then they want to try something new, even though they liked it.
Right.
And so it's not until they get older that they'll pursue a passion they have, you know, and like my daughter did an art class. She loved it. She made beautiful pictures. This is a child who draws every day. And I got the new parking lot like, oh, the teacher's doing another art class. I'll sign you up. She said, no, I'm going to try tennis this time, you know? And so it's just, yeah, it's also being flexible, you know, and going with changing. You're being flexible, whatever.
That's a good one.
Yeah, and your children will keep you on your toes. That's really good. They're fun.
To not look at us.
Any questions?
They have passion.
Yeah.
My son just turned 3.
Yes.
And first is like after TK.
Yes.
So when do I need to?
Next year.
Next year. This year?
No.
Next.
Because he's just 3. Yeah. So we get you a little bit longer. Yeah. Yeah.
That's something I'd like to talk about is readiness.
Okay.
Because I feel like Charlotte's ready, but she's going to be 5 this summer. And when Peter was 5 in the summer, he was not ready.
He's a boy.
He's a boy.
And he's a different kid. I mean, there are boys that are ready.
Yeah.
So
She's the youngest.
So just to let you know that we are assessing your children every single day, whether you see it formally or not. Every single day we're looking at your children and seeing what they're doing, what their capabilities are. When we're taking art off the easel, when we're taking art out of the dry racks, we're looking at, you know, are they crossing the midline? Are they ready for reading? Are they showing, you know, conservation skill? All these things. And then we actually sit down and do formal, what we call formal, team formal.
They don't know what's formal.
Assessments coming up like in February and March. And we focus on the older kids, but if you would like us to assess your 3- and 4-year-old, we'd be happy to do that as well. Just let us know. But we focus on the ones that are pre-K and TK ready and older, just so we know where they're at, so we can talk with the parents and let them know if we think it'd be a good fit for them to move on to kindergarten, or if we think that a gift of an extra year would be beneficial. Ultimately, the decision is yours. You know, if you need to put them in kindergarten because you need free childcare, or you're going back to work, or you just had it, that's your prerogative. But we want you to know that if you were to do that, and we're recommending not, maybe these are some areas you might want to help support your child, because they may not do well in these areas, you know, or to help balance out. Now, I've seen it all. We've had kids that are like savants that were not ready emotionally and socially at all. They were given the gift of an extra year and did great. I've seen 3-year-olds that can read and write and tell you pi squared and all this stuff, but you know, you just, there's all kinds of differences. I've seen kids go on to kindergarten that were able to take care of their needs, advocate for themselves. They had a good work ethic and a positive attitude. They were excited to learn, but maybe the academic, they didn't know how to read. They couldn't recognize a letter or count. But because they had a different skill set, they did great in kindergarten. So there's not like 1 or 2 or 3 things that show you that,
Even know all those letters.
yeah, that show us that they're ready. There's so many factors. We look at so many things, and we look at their home life and what you guys, where you're at and what you want, and so there's a lot that goes into it.
I saw Cassie and Paige yesterday.
Uh-huh.
And Paige is doing really well in first grade also. She was here.
Uh-huh.
And I was telling her about Avery being at the top of reading, and that they should be at 60 words per minute by the end of the year, and she's already at 100. And she's like, oh, so it's like, they're like, Paige, she goes, oh, look at that, they went to a play-based preschool.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, it really, my biggest fear wasn't her academic, it was her behavior, so she's doing okay.
She's doing
She's
great.
doing okay for that.
She's
And-
doing great.
Yes.
I've got a text from you at night.
I know.
She's doing
That's
great.
because Elizabeth babysits, so I'm not there. No, but I mean,
Elizabeth That's who she's texting.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, not only did the school just save her life and mine, but she just blossomed, and when she got to school, she is a little better at sitting still and doing what needs to be done, and she does things so quickly and prints really nicely, but then she's bored, then she wants to move on to the next thing, so then she just scribbles everywhere, but that's just a maturity thing,
Right.
I think. But she just, I feel like if she hadn't been here, not that she wouldn't still be smart, but I feel like she'd be just a different child. And it's
So the
giving
other
her that
thing-
freedom to
Yeah.
play and all that.
I'm gonna leave you with this one last thing. It is 8 o'clock. I have no plans after this, so I will sit here and talk as long as you guys want to talk. But I just want to make sure you guys know it's almost 8. And if you need to leave, you're welcome to go, but you're welcome to stay as well. I've got coffee, I've got snacks. But what I wanted to leave you with is, totally lost my train of thought. We were talking about behavior. Gosh, it was really good. It was really good too.
If she didn't come to this school, she would be.
Oh, thank you. So all kids, so just because one's reading at 3 and one's not reading until 7, at about 4th grade, it all kind of shakes out. They're all kind of, it's a developmental thing. Does every child walk at the same age or talk at the same age or get teeth at the same age? So why do we expect them all to be reading in kindergarten? That's not even the standard. The standard is to be able to identify, 15 letters of the alphabet by the end of kindergarten. That's the standard for the state of California. So
That
any,
standard thing.
I do.
She gave us like
I-
kind of this.
I do, and you can
I
go
don't
on
know
that.
that.
You can go on the
Like,
sleep
they can't read, and everyone else
They
can
give us
read,
the beginning of the year,
and
but-
am I like,
It's
we're
different
sight
now.
words, and
I do
so
have
after
that.
looking at that, I was like, oh, we're good.
I do have it, and it's on the
Website.
website, but it's worded different, it's not as clear. Like it
Okay.
used to be like recognizes numbers 1 through 10. It was
Right.
very clear, but now with Common Core, they had to word it up a little.
I think
So-
it's really hard to not, because we're of the ages that we are,
Yeah.
it's hard to not expect them to just, why don't you understand that? I understand, it's really hard to remember, okay, they're only 3 or 5 or 6 or whatever.
Or because you think they know it, they really don't.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
know, they really don't. Like,
Well, that's like, I have this like concern for Kai, beginning of the year, last year, or the year now. ABCs, 1, 2, 3, he recognized lots. I mean, like all the alphabets, all the numbers, and point out whatever, he recognized it, but he regressed. And recently, about a month ago, I bought these charts from the dollar store anyway, just going over our alphabets, and he forgot, like, I would say 20% of them. And that concerned me, and I started getting, a little frustrated, and, like, what did I do wrong? And,
he's
said
on to
that-
something else. And when he was interested in the beginning, because it was new, he was paying attention and he was remembering, and then now he's
It's
working on
okay,
something.
he regressed.
No, it's not new. What else that was concerned, like when they were babies, like they would start, when they would be doing something physical here, then something in a different developmental area, they would kind of lose even though they would know it. Like they'd be talking, but then they moved on to like walking and they forgot some words they knew or something.
Yeah.
Probably about the same.
Yeah.
Okay. It is. Anybody else? Well, thank you all so much for coming. I'm gonna stay, so if anybody wants to stay and chat. I'm not going home. My kids are so late.
Mine are too.
The lights are gonna stay until 10 in the parking lot, so.
That's nice.
Yeah. If anybody has a question that isn't about school and standards and all that fun stuff.
That's the meaning of life.
What is the meaning of life? I mean, let's just hash it out right now.
It's totally off topic.
Yes.
I'm frustrated with potty training.
Good question.
I don't know what to do anymore. But so she is going to be like Crystal, she's 7.
No, she's not.
How old is she? She's 3, almost 3 and a half.
No, she's not.
Oh, Avery was
They have like.
over 3 before she even would think about it.
She asked when because Evelyn is potty trained now, so she comes to school in underwear. And yesterday, no, but she came yesterday, like, she dropped Cassidy off, and then I'm like, yeah, we're potty. Cassidy's like, yeah, you can do it. I know you can. She was like smiling, so I don't know if that may help her.
Peer pressure.
What?
Yeah.
Well, okay, so we tried potty trainer in August.
Distance and the time wasn't a
Potty training doesn't
problem. I
no,
feel like
she will train you,
bridges and
promise.
still-
And,
So
so then I gave up on that, and it's just,
she won't go near it.
My mom can't.
or then she
It's
says she
her
wants to
lab.
go,
Yeah.
she wants to potty for
Yeah.
about 2.5 seconds.
That's right.
So can I just say,
I'm done.
Looking
when
at
when Avery wasn't potty training, I wasn't really trying that hard, but we were going to a parenting therapist right before we started here.
And then
we were going to take that one as well.
time press.
So you were like, what are we doing wrong? And one of the things, this therapist wrote a book about it, I'm looking at it, but she said there are a few things you cannot make
Like
them
the
do.
experiment,
Like,
the type of thing,
You don't have to
start
start
at 18
They have
months.
control over those things.
I want them.
And the more we
Cancer when she was like 15 months.
try to reward them or
And then
push them or whatever, the longer it's gonna take. And so I said, okay, I stopped.
Money was going there.
And I didn't even put her in pull-ups. I took her out.
Like,
She's a teacher. You're ready.
I forgot I was supposed to do a PSA. Sorry.
Oh, what's that?
I'm supposed to give you, I'm not really about details. Yeah. I'm like, let's say I find a big picture. So here's a detail. Kindergarten Roundup Information Night is going to be here January 27th at 6:30. This is only, they're only going to talk about neighborhood schools and Earths and in Conejo. Earths and Conejo Open. They will not talk about charters. They will not talk about homeschool. They will not talk about private. Yeah, it's just district. And they're going to tell you how wonderful their childcare is. And they're going to talk about their lunches. So they're really not going to talk to you about the school. So if you want to know about the schools, go to the schools.
Yeah.
These are cards about Bridges, if anybody's interested. The way you enroll in Bridges, I don't know about Mainz or anything else, but is you have to go to a parent information night, and then you have a tour. Because we want you guys to know what you're getting into before you just apply. So those are the requirements.
Anyway, so we heard about it, she was like, oh gosh.
Big stop.
I was mom's house.
Her teacher now is pretty.
And I'm like, oh my god. So then and then I should.
They do have like a mom group. They have a benefit program, but it's also, I know she just did a program.
So now I'm like, I don't know.
I mean, that's how it would have
And my neighbors go there and they
has so many
next year.
Right. No, I asked her though, because I was just,
And you know.
so I'm like,
And then I was like, oh, I wonder if I have a teacher. Yes.
No, because I asked Natalie, since we do apply for it, and
Oh, yes.
I asked her, like, you need to go around, I have to get like, she's like, teachers are happy.
Yes, probably.
Should probably take all this down while I'm here.
There was like a voice problem, and he like,
And I feel like you guys have told us these things for a really long time. Hey, your kid does what you do, or how you taught everybody. And I was like, he was being her.